Privileged to serve as the senior pastor of this historic congregation. This congregation was founded in 1952, 72 years ago, on this site. At the time, there were all of 1,000 residents of Naples and 6,000 in all of Collier County. You can imagine that. What a wonderful way to spend an hour or so on an afternoon during the season here. Naples is extraordinary, isn't it? People come for a while, go back north, but we hope that for as long as you're here, that this will be a memory that you cherish. It's my great privilege to serve with Dr. Bryce Gerlach, who's our director of music for these last 23 years. He's been quite an anchor, well known in the Naples and Southwest Florida Music Community. Bryce is fond of reminding me or telling me that 10 times more people come to faith and experience the holy through music than through preaching. And I have no doubt that that's true. Music touches our hearts, lifts our souls, transports us to places that are glorious and profound. So, we're in for a treat this afternoon with the gift of music, and here to tell us a little bit more about it, would you welcome, with appreciation, Dr. Bryce Gerlach.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to serve here as Director of Music, as Craig mentioned, for 23 years. I can't imagine a better church to be a music director. This congregation has always been so supportive of the music program, from the music we present on Sunday morning as part of worship to these concerts. This is the final concert of our afternoon series. I have a few more concerts I'll speak about that are noontime concerts. But what a way to close the season. The Seraph Brass have been here before. Many of you may have heard them play here before. They're just a fantastic group. Led by Mary Bowden, who is an old friend of mine from when she was here in Naples full time. She's put together several ensembles, but Seraph Brass is a wonderful group. They've traveled all over, as you may have read in their artist bio, but you're in for an absolute treat. So please help me welcome Seraph Brass to our stage.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Mary Elizabeth Bowden, and I'm so happy to be back in this beautiful church, and thank you for Bryce for having us return here once again. As you know, that I was a resident here for 7 years, and so Naples will always be a cherished home for me, so I hope to continue to make music in this community for many, many years to come. This afternoon, we have an exciting program for you that includes a lot of classical arrangements as well as some new pieces that are very exciting as well. And you can see that the other trumpeter, Rachel, and I have quite a few different trumpets with us today that have a variety of different sound colors, so you can listen for that. The first piece we just played, we took you on a journey to Norway, where you heard Edvard Grieg's prelude to his Holberg suite. This is most commonly played with string orchestra, but it was originally for piano. And now we're going to switch to the world of vocal music, starting with opera. In this opera by Verdi, La Traviata, I will be playing an aria called Sempre Libera, and this is Violetta's aria. And this afternoon, I will be playing the role on my new G trumpet. So those of you who were here in 2015 when I played the concert with piccolo trumpet, this is a little bigger than a piccolo, and so it's a little bit of a bigger sound, but it still sounds not quite like the typical trumpet sound. And in this aria, Violetta is wondering if she should keep her party lifestyle and be free, or if she should follow her true love and be with Alfredo. And she hears Alfredo singing from a window. And in the middle of the aria, the role will be played by Hannah on the horn today. And following this piece, we will continue hearing Hannah's beautiful lyricism with a song by Tchaikovsky, Does the Day Rain? And it's all about love. So we hope you enjoy these next 2 selections.
Our next piece is a really exciting new commission titled Showcase, and it's written by the composer Jeff Scott. He noticed when listening and researching to Seraph that we showcase a lot of the members, as you may have noticed, and hence the title of the piece. Jeff Scott is actually the former horn player of the Imani Winds, which is an excellent chamber group, and he's also now, as of a few weeks ago, a Grammy-winning composer. So we're really happy he was able to write this piece for us before he gets a lot more expensive to hire. This piece has a lot of different mixed meter and polyrhythms that creates a really dynamic and exciting soundscape, and it draws from a lot of different musical genres, including R&B and smooth jazz, which you will hear in a section that highlights the flugelhorn. After Showcase, we'll be playing Liszt's Hungarian Rhapsody No. 2. It's really well loved by audiences, and originally actually for the piano, but in our version, it's been reimagined for brass quintet. That will be a great way to close out our first half, but first, here is Showcase.
First of all, I want to thank you all for being here on such a wonderful afternoon and a holiday on St. Patrick's Day, but thank you for being here and spending an hour or so with the Seraph Brass. As you may notice on the back side of your program, there are sponsors of the Season of Music. We rely on donations to help this series continue, and as you've clearly heard, the quality of the music that we present is very high. So I would ask that the ushers would come forward now, and please be generous and support our music series. After the ushers have come forward, we'll have just a few minutes break, and then we'll be back with the second half of the program. So thank you very much for being here. I really appreciate your attendance. All right, we're almost ready to begin the second half. Just a few words about upcoming concerts. There are 2 concerts remaining, but they're organ concerts that I'm presenting on Wednesday at noon. So this Wednesday at noon, and then the following Wednesday at noon. I present Lenten concerts. There are 6 Wednesdays in Lent, and these are the last 2. And you can read about what the concerts are like, but they're very informal, and I talk about the organ, I talk about the pieces more in detail than I'm able to do, obviously, for a worship service. And we roll the organ's on a platform, we roll the organ platform forward, and people can come up after the recital and ask questions about what all the knobs and buttons do and all the various sounds and how the whole instrument works. And then each week I take a group of 10 or 15 people behind this stone wall into the organ chamber to see some of the pipes. This is the largest pipe organ in Southwest Florida, so it's always fun to show people how it really functions. Also, right next to the advertisement about the organ concert is our Holy Week schedule. So take a look at that, all the services that are coming up. Next Sunday is Palm Sunday, which begins Holy Week and ends with Easter in 2 weeks. So I invite you to attend one of those services. We have special music for all of them. All right, well, let's welcome back Seraph Brass to the stage, and we'll continue our concert this afternoon. Oh, I forgot one thing. There's a wonderful reception following the concert. Directly behind you is our fellowship hall, and Seraph Brass also has CDs and other merchandise for sale right inside the double doors there. So you can take some of their music home with you if you wish. All right, now we'll welcome them back to the stage. Thank you.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. Good to be here. That piece that we just played was Del Fuego I'm sorry, what is it called? Vuelta del Fuego, Ring of Fire by Kevin McKee. It's a fiery piece, and the composer, Kevin McKee, said that he was inspired by the TV and movies of Zorro. And you can see it has everything. It has over-the-top swagger and just a lot of that Latin influence there. So a lot of fun to play. Hopefully you enjoyed it as well. The next piece is going to be a piece that features me. It's called Or Staccato by Grigoris Denicu. He wrote this piece in 1906 for his graduation from the Bucharest Conservatory, where he also performed the piece. It shortly thereafter became very popular, especially in 1932 when Jascha Heifetz performed it, the violin virtuoso, of course. And since then, a lot of instruments, particularly brass, have taken it, and we've tried to make it our own. The first one that I ever listened to for trumpet was by the great Mexican trumpeter Rafael Mendez. I was so inspired in high school listening to this recording because he had such a big sound and this fantastic technique. And he would articulate so quickly, I didn't know what he was doing. But I soon found out that it's a device that we called double tonguing. And it's something that we do in order to articulate very rapidly. Instead of just saying tu tu tu, we alternate with the front of the tongue and the back of the tongue, tuku 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 tuku. So you'll hear a lot of that device double tonguing in this piece. After the piece, we're going to go back to some modern music. It's a piece by Lillian Yee, Miracles of the Human Condition. We helped in part to commission this piece, and we had the opportunity to speak with the composer last fall in California, and she told us a little bit about what influenced her. She's heavily influenced by Brazilian music, and also her love of impressionistic music, and also her love of video game music. So it's a very eclectic piece, or a very eclectic, things that she's inspired by. And you'll hear that in her piece. It's very eclectic as well. The piece is also programmatic in that it's loosely based on her life. And it's about love and the messiness of it, but also the fun of it. So we hope you enjoy Miracles of the Human Condition. But first, here's Ora Staccato.
Hi everyone, thank you for coming out on St. Patrick's Day. I love all your green. I'm not wearing green, but I have a built-in St. Patrick's Day outfit, so nobody can get me. I hope you've enjoyed the program so far, and I am excited to introduce. Thank you. Our next piece will be called Tutorana, and that is by a very talented composer named Rina Ismail. And she is a very young Indian American composer, and she's very interesting because she works between the worlds of Western and Indian classical music. So you'll hear some Hindustani music in there, and the name Tutorana comes from two words. So the first word is tutti, which I'm sure you've all heard. It's Italian for all. It's commonly used in music. And then Tarana is actually a form of Hindustani music where you use words as rhythm. And we, of course, don't have words, but you will hear patterns of rhythm that imitate that form of music. The next piece we will be playing is called Virgo by Catherine McMichael. It's part of a larger work called Hysteria, and that is actually the name of the Seraph Brass debut album, which is really cool. And Virgo is about different women as constellations. So Virgo is the lover of justice. And that is what you'll be hearing next. So I hope you enjoy.
Well, we've come to the last piece on our program, and it's titled Go, but don't go just quite yet. We've had such a fun time this afternoon sharing our program with all of you. We have an upcoming album release, probably August, September. Stay tuned for our new album that has some pieces that you heard today. As well as my solo album will be released in June, and the Seraph one August, September. So there's a lot of new music coming your way on iTunes and Spotify. So also keep in touch with us on our website, seraphbrass.com. We are currently in our 10th anniversary season, and we're so excited to start our next decade of adventures. I believe next season we'll be headed to Korea and Mexico, just to name a few places. And this next piece, the last piece, is by a friend of mine, trumpeter and composer Tony DiLorenzo. And it's been one of the pieces that we played on the very first day that the group was formed, and so now we've committed to memorizing it. And each measure of this piece is in a different time signature. So it's been quite a feat, and it's super fun, and thank you. And we look forward to meeting all of you at the reception. Thank you so much. So we have a surprise piece for you, but I think it needs a little bit of a backstory because we've had quite a day. So back and during one of our first tours in fall of 2016, we were on tour in the Midwest and our van broke down. The brakes gave out. So we had to figure out a way to get a car, and my dad drove to Minnesota from Chicago to try to help us fix the brakes on the van. And he stayed up all night, it didn't work, and we had to just scramble to find another vehicle. It was really crazy. But my dad over the years had been like, you have to program the theme to the Lone Ranger. Audiences will love it. And so I was saving this for a surprise for him. And so when he came and he got us a new rental car and we played this encore for him, and then he continued to drive the van all the way back to Chicago with no brakes. He used the emergency brake. So this morning, our electrical vehicle that we accidentally rented gave out, and all the cars in Lakeland, Florida were gone. So anyone notice that big, strange U-Haul out in the parking lot? That is one of our vehicles on tour. So with the spirit of that, here's William Tell, or the theme to the Lone Ranger. Thank you all so much.